The Golden Knights control their own destiny as VGK hosts the LA Kings tonight in a crucial Pacific Division matchup. Jonathan Quick probably won't be facing his former team, but will Quick be involved with the game plan?
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. I'm Tony Credasco along with Chris Golick. We come to you every day from Las Vegas. You could find us on Twitter at LockdownVGK, at Tony Dasco, and at TD Chris G. And your YouTube channel where you should be is Locked On Golden Knights, and please subscribe there. So, Chris, the Golden Knights are hoping to get a win over the visiting Kings tonight. As I mentioned from the outset, they control their own destiny. This will be a game with playoff implications. Love to say that at this time of year because we missed that a season ago. And when you look at the current Pacific Division standings, VGK in first place, 104 points. The Golden Knights now lead Edmonton by just 1 point, but they also have a game in hand. The Kings now are 4 points back of the Golden Knights entering tonight. It's a very important, as they call it, a 4-point game. And again, it should be a playoff atmosphere tonight at T-Mobile Arena. This series has been level. I mean, it's the Kings since the inception of this series and the rivalry, 14-13-4. No, 14-13-1. The Kings lead this series, I should say. They have the advantage. And the Kings have beaten VGK the last couple of outings. A lot of pressure for VGK coming into tonight's game. The Kings, I feel, they know where they're going to be. They're solidified into that next level. I think they could upset the Golden Knights tonight. It's a little bit of a long shot for them to come back and win the division. However, they get the 2 points tonight. Things really get tightened up there in the Pacific.
So I was just looking in the last 16 games, the Kings have been playing some pretty good defense lately. I wasn't sure what their stats were. In their last 16 games, they've given up 3 or more goals 3 times. That right there is very, very noteworthy. Let's talk about the Kings' last 2 games against the Oilers. The Kings lost 3-1. One of the goals was an empty netter, whatever to that, so 2-1. And then they lost to the Oilers last week 2-0. So they found a way to slow down that incredibly high-powered offense that's obviously feasting off the power plays, but just all that talent in general. The Vegas Golden Knights obviously got shellacked by the Edmonton Oilers. So who knows what that means as far as how the Kings will perform tonight. VGK comes in after a couple nice, got 3 points in that, quick little roadie. VGK should be somewhat fresh coming into tonight's game. And it's unfortunate. I don't think we're going to see Quick tonight because he went Tuesday against Nashville. But in the same breath, you almost wonder if this was the goalie's choice not to go. You wonder if Cassidy talked to the vet, 2-3 weeks ago, whenever the trade happened, and said, "Hey, big game coming up. What do you want to do?" It would not surprise me if that conversation happened. I won't be doing media tonight. My kid's off school tomorrow, so we'll be there as fans tonight. But that might have been my question tonight, depending on how things go, what the decision-making was. And who knows? It may not even been considered either. It may not even have been a thought. It might have been, listen, here's our formula for the last 7 or 8 games. Now we're down to the last 4 games. Quick, you'll be on the bench, and maybe Quick goes on Saturday against Dallas. I don't know.
Yeah, so I know that one of the things that Cassidy had said about this goalie situation against the Kings, he had told the media a couple of days ago, it would be whoever he feels has the better chance of winning. And so for him, I think that's going to be Brossoit tonight. Easy decision. Yeah.
Yep.
And Quick played 14 years plus, as we know, in LA. And he has to be helping out with the game plan and some of the tendencies. And I'm sure he's been very close to Brossoit as far as some of the tendencies that he might see in this game tonight, where to play certain players, where to position himself. I'm sure he's had to help in the game plan because he left very bitter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was definitely a strange feeling, and you think about his opening press conference. The different media members that were there were kind of taking turns, taking little swipes, trying to see if they can get Quick talking, and Quick was, no pun intended, pretty quick about it. He said they moved on, so have I. I'm sure there's some more feels going on than that, obviously. And at the end of the day, listen, Quick is now going to have an opportunity to still compete for a Stanley Cup. Whether or not he's going to have an active role, I think his role is kind of diminishing. I think he was a stopgap, so to speak, with all the injuries and stuff that we had, and a brilliant stopgap because he has won some important games for the VGK, and helped have the VGK where they are right now, which is competing for not only another division banner, but competing to be the top team, the top seed in the West, which would be extremely important. Listen, you don't want to, if you finish second place, you're probably playing the Kings or the Oilers. Most likely the Kings, I would say, in the first round, because the Oilers are the one who seem like they're about to run the table, and VGK needs to get 6 out of the last 8 to basically match that momentum right now. So
Okay.
At the end of the day, tonight's game will do two things. One, it obviously cushions the lead in the Pacific, but more importantly, if a win tonight all but locks in VGK at least in the second seed in the Pacific, which at the start of the season, that's a win. Is it a letdown if they don't win the Pacific right now? Sure. But the way things start, we thought they were maybe a second, third team, maybe flirt with the wild card every now and then. But let's overachieve, Tony. Let's overachieve.
If you were the LA Kings, wouldn't you much rather play the Golden Knights, who they match up better with? They've defeated the Golden Knights again, 2 out of 3, I think, this season. Wouldn't you much rather play them than the surging and red hot Edmonton Oilers? And so that could be more incentive to try to knock the VGK out of that top spot, is what I'm guessing. That's another
VGK's
angle,
got
right?
incentive to want to play the Flames or the Jets right now. So
Right.
As much incentive as the Kings have, VGK has that and exponentially and greater, because the Kings and the Oilers, that's probably, and listen, whoever that second versus three first round matchup is, that's probably a 7-game series right there. That's probably a long 7-game grueling series, whereas whoever gets the Pacific, or whoever wins the Pacific, not saying it's going to be a laydown to beat the Flames, the Jets, or even possibly still the Preds. They're still kind of hanging out right there. It's never a layup, but there's not a hockey player on the planet that would say, no, give me McDavid in the first round. I want McDavid. I want the Kings. I want a rivalry series. No one wants that. Let's take care of business tonight. Let's knock the Kings basically down to the 3 seed, at least get home ice advantage for round 1. And then we'll work our way back to seeing how things are going to shake out.
VGK, 5 of 6 points, as you mentioned, in playing the 3 games in 4 nights. Tonight will be their 6th game in 10 nights, in 10 days. And then
playoffs.
The Kings just come off of a 7 games in 11-day schedule. Right. And so, but this is a sandwich game too for the LA Kings. They played Edmonton earlier this week, VGK tonight, and then they take on the Avs on Saturday. So Bill Foley did a really good job at making that a difficult schedule for the LA Kings.
Yeah, but listen, the Kings are going to be just as focused tonight as they are against Colorado than the last 2 games against Anaheim and whoever they got. But
somebody, they've got a couple of dogs there at the end.
Kevin Fiala, not Vegas though.
Fiala listed his date today. I'm sure he'll play tonight. It appears as though he's headed in that direction. The leading scorer with 72 points, Anze Kopitar, 68, Adrian Kempe, 59 points. It's been balanced scoring, and again, good defense for the Kings. It's kind of crazy to say that, right? And now, Phoenix Copley's done a terrific job in maintaining the net. They have some good depth there with Joonas Korpisalo, who they got as part of that big trade with Columbus at the trade deadline for Quick.
Yeah, no doubt. They're also up to a 22 on the plus minus goal differential. They are sitting at plus 22 right now. Whereas earlier in the season, I was all over the Kings saying this isn't going to last. It's not sustainable. There's no way a team can go this long and this deep and only be +7, +6, even, however you want to look at it. Copley's numbers also a little bit better too. He's at a 265 goals against, and save percentage is now over 900, where he was flirting around 8-9 something for most of the season. So those metrics are definitely getting better. And, the Kings, like the Vegas Golden Knights, veterans, it's an older roster. They know when to turn it on. And, the two teams are almost carbon copies of each other in that department as far as age versus youth. Quentin Byfield, I think, is still going. They got Sean Dursey and, Rasmus Kapari and players like that who are, I think, still contributing at this level. But, at the end of the day, it's going to be a great matchup. It's going to be a really good matchup. It's nice to have Riley Smith back in the lineup tonight. And let's see where Pavel Dorofeev slots in. Let's see how this works out. He got bumped down to 3 on Tuesday. No goals for Dorofeev. He's terrible. Send him back down to the AHL, I guess. But we'll see how that plays out. And it's going to be a great game. I cannot wait for this game. It will be a very rocking atmosphere. There's not even many tickets on Access right now. So you can definitely see that this game is going to be huge tonight. So much fun. I cannot wait. Early start to the holiday weekend as well.
So Edmonton, and the Kings, I watched their matchup the other night. Following the game, Leon Draisaitl said, if we play them in the playoffs, it will be a very tight and defensive series, which sounds funny because those two teams are known for their offense. And did you see Nugent Hopkins now at 100 points as well? 3 players.
Yeah, it was funny. I was sitting next to, I've mentioned his name a few times now, Mark Spector from, I believe, Sportsnet Canada.
Sportsnet, yeah.
Awesome follow, great guy. So much fun talking with him. We just enjoyed the game so much. And Nugent Hopkins came into the game against the VGK with 91 points. Or it might have even been 89 points. I said, he might get his 100 points tonight. And we were joking, obviously. And Nugent Hopkins puts up a friggin' Yahtzee. He put up a 5 spot in that game as far as his points went. And obviously didn't take him too much longer to get to 100. The Oilers, listen, if their defense keeps us up, they are unstoppable. They will be unstoppable. They will win going away. They will crush Boston in the final. If it gets to that point, they will roll right through the Vegas Golden Knights. They'll roll through everybody if their defense and goaltending keeps it up. If Edmonton can win games 2-1 instead of 5-4 and 4-3, you don't need to play the rest of the games. Don't even need to play the rest of the games. It's done.
Coming up next, embattled VGK goaltender Robin Lehner's in the news again, accused of fraud by creditors. We'll talk about that when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. When you are drafting your fantasy team, do you ever wish that you could handpick the best stars for your business team? If you're building your talent roster, you need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, you can interview, and hire all in one place. Don't spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates with the right skills when you could do it all with Indeed. Find top talent fast at Indeed's suite of powerful hiring tools like matching, assessments, and virtual interviews. And candidates that you invite to apply through Instant Match are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in the search, according to U.S. Indeed data. So join over 3 million businesses worldwide using Indeed currently to hire great talent fast. Indeed knows when you're growing and you have to grow your business and you have to make every single dollar count. That's why with Indeed, you only pay for quality applications that match your must-have job requirements. So visit Indeed.com/lockedon today to start the hiring process. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon, Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas, and we come to you every day. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. You can find our podcast wherever it's available, and go to the YouTube site Locked On Golden Knights, and please subscribe. So, Chris, more troubles embattled Robin Lehner. Man, so right now, he's been accused of fraud by American Express. Remember, we talked a little bit about it on the show because it's kind of dicey. And Lehner and his wife, they filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy back in December. Aliyah Growth Fund says that It loaned the Lehners almost $5 million 6 weeks before he filed for bankruptcy. So they felt that that was in the plan, that he was trying to get more money, knowing, again, with his bankruptcy attorneys, that he was going to apply for Chapter 7. So I just remember Bill Foley, right, early in the season saying something to the effect that there were no distractions in the goalie room. Do you remember him saying something to that effect? This had to be a major mess with Lehner, all the stuff going on with all of these loans and the Aaliyah fund and buying, the reptile farm and the snakes and all that. It had to be disastrous in that locker room, plus all the injuries that he had sustained and going back with Dr. Saravalli. And man, it had to be like just every day some new drama with Lehner. And you have to wonder if they knew that all of this was unfolding as well within the VGK organization, because it appears as though they had to have some inkling that something was amiss there. Something just was not right.
So a few things here. I mean, it's such a dicey situation. And I think I want to start by saying Robin Lehner is a Vegas Golden Knight, folks. Let's not forget that he is still one of us. He still is on the team. He's still on the payroll. What this means for next season, I don't know if he will make an NHL return, a VGK return. Tony thinks no. We've talked about this offline. I mean, not to knock on a situation, but now more than ever, he needs to make money. And obviously, you make money doing what you do, health pending, of course. But, he's still a Golden Knight. I hope he can get his situation worked out. I hope he gets the fan support should he come back to Vegas, should he be anywhere in town. Should he be out and about, or, in the off season, he starts his workouts and, he gets to make a start in preseason. I hope the fans are there to get behind him and cheer him on, because he's still one of us. He is still a Vegas Golden Knight. I think it's also an important reminder that it doesn't matter how much money you have. People are still human. They make decisions that, aren't always the best with money. I'm sure as heck guilty of it all the time. Tony doesn't spend much money decorating his backdrop. He spends it elsewhere. So, but, point being is it doesn't matter who you are, you're not above your own personal demons. And, he does have a family to keep in mind as well. So, and listen, I'm guilty here too. I've joked about, the snakes, and I've, in my business, whenever we pull a Robin Lehner card, we kind of chuckle like a couple of kids, and, it's not appropriate though. And it's something I hope to change about myself. And I just hope Robin Lehner can get things worked out. And whether it's coming back to the VGK, whether it's he fades off into the sunset doing whatever it is he wants to do, it's a human situation. And you want the best for him as you would for anyone else that you support.
Yeah, I still don't believe he'll ever be back in net here for the
No,
VGK.
it's fair. It's a fair belief. It is.
Yeah, they solicited 24 separate loans totaling $21 million. They're in very deep here. He utilized his NHL contract as collateral, which I found, kind of strange. And we know about the mental illness issues with Robin Lehner. This is not a good situation for him personally. Okay. Everything else, as you said, he's a human being, right? And if he's struggled with mental illness, well, this is off the rails currently, because he's got all these issues, and I'm sure the anxiety and everything else. And yeah, I just don't think he'll be back. And I don't know how VGK can part ways with him. Just put him on LTIR for the next couple of years or whatever. I don't know. But he's failed to make payments towards that reptile farm. You combine the injuries and the legal issues, and I don't think, and I don't think this team is going to want that distraction in the locker room. And I go back to what Foley said.
I mean, I have a choice. I mean, remember, if he comes back, if he passes a physical, he is a Golden Knight. He is a Golden Knight. Now, obviously, you look at like what happened with Laurent Brossoit. Obviously, he is a Golden Knight as well, obviously, and he did his rehab assignment. He was up with the VGK, passed waivers with ease when he was sent back down, so he was able to be parked in the AHL for a while. So, again, I'm going down the path. If Robin Lehner does return to hockey, I could see something like that happening, where he is working his things out in the AHL for, in the American League for a while, if he comes back. And, again, it's we're talking about all his personal demons and stuff like that, on top of the financial situation and the fact that he is a athlete that needs to perform at a high level, not just in front of 18,000 people a night, but, hundreds of thousands of more, depending on what the ratings are and how many people are watching. So, it's an incredibly tough situation. I have no idea what it's like being in his head. You don't know what it's like being in his head, Tony. And anyone watching this show has no idea what it's like to be in Robin Lehner's head right now. And you just hope, first and foremost, he takes care of himself. And then, the hockey and everything else happening, hopefully it all shakes out to whatever it needs to be in his family's best interest. Again, family, children involved too. It's playing out in the public eye. You got to feel for the situation. I feel terrible for him, and I hope he can get all figured out.
Yeah, and they definitely don't need this. And I'm almost positive currently there's got to be some conversations between the team and his agent and attorneys to try to find out, because it's, again, an investment for the Golden Knights, and to find out what the future holds for Robin Lehner.
No, VGK deserves answers. They deserve to know where his head is at as far as hockey goes. As far as everything else, VGK, whatever. I mean, they get summoned in court, or I don't know how that's going to work out, because obviously they're the employer and paying him, and all this stuff plays out publicly. But, at the end of the day, I'm sure there is some discussion amongst representation from Robin and, the VGK side, trying to figure out what might happen next season. And I got a feeling VGK already knows, what's going to happen, how it might play out, whether they're getting ready for a potential return and the contingency plans, or if they know that he's done. I mean, there's one thing we don't know about all this, and that's his health. That's his physical health. We have no idea how things are going with that right now. And, he's not made a single VGK statement. We did a show, I don't know, 2-3 months ago, and I'm like, hey, what's up with Robin Lehner? Why is he not? I did the milk carton tweet. I did the milk carton tweet, and that was actually quite funny. Funny. But, there's nothing. Like, it'd be nice, like, hey, go Knights, go. You guys are doing well. I can't wait. Whatever it might be. It doesn't have to be I'll come back to the team next season, but something supporting the team, because I'm sitting here saying Robin Lehner is a Golden Knight. He's one of us. Well, it would help if he at least would acknowledge the team and what's happening right now.
I don't know about that. He's been very
not anymore. This was prior to all this news.
Right. But he's mom now, currently.
No, he needs to be. No distractions. No more distractions.
Nothing else. Coming up next, we'll have our locks of the night and predictions for tonight's game. Don't go away. Stay with us right here on Locked On Golden Knights. As we know, the NBA playoffs are almost here. Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. So simply just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It is safe, it's secure, it's reliable, and it's super easy to use. And then you can bet on everything from the money line to points scored to three-pointers drained. Myself and Chris like the 2x3, 2 3-pointers scored within the first 3 minutes. Bet the over, just like VGK games. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for the chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. So don't miss your chance to get the no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the National Basketball Association. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Credasco, Chris Golick. Chris, I know you texted me like an hour ago. Your text just came through. Oh, great phone service here, of course, in the Valley. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. And you could find us wherever you get your podcast. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. And tonight's game should be a doozy. And I think tonight's game, remember in the preseason, I think they were up in Salt Lake, and they had that 16-round or 15-round shootout. I think because they got some good practice at the shootout, remember, after the game. I think what we're going to do tonight is replay that. I think we're going to have like a 15-round shootout, and I think the Kings steal one 4-3 here.
It's not an unfair perspective. I mean, I think the Vegas Golden Knights, they need to keep the scoring down. This is where they kind of need to play the Kings game. And if it goes 6 goals or higher, I think that means the Kings found a way to crack the Golden Knights defensively. If the score is 5 or less goals, I think VGK finds a way to win a very tight game. I'm trying to look up the line. Here we go. Let's see what this has got to be a pick 'em on both sides, right? I mean, isn't that
Should
okay?
be.
VGK is minus 130. Kings are plus 110. You got 6 on the over under. If it goes 6 or more goals, Tony, I'm with you. The Kings will win this one. If it goes 5 or less goals, I think Vegas finds a way to win a tight one. Vegas has found a way to win big games. They're winning big games right now. Give me 3-1 VGK tonight. Who do you like, Tony, to score some goals? What do you think is going to happen there?
Well, first of all, I will say the Kings are 46-4 when they score 3 or more goals. 46-4. VGK won the first meeting 4-3. Next 2 won by the Kings 4-2, 5-1. But I'm going to stick with 4-3. And I'm going to go with Barbashev. And I'm going to go with Jack Eichel. He's been ragged on by the broadcast team of late. And lighten up on Jack. He'll deliver when they need him. He will deliver when they need Jack Eichel. He will be there. He'll pot the big goal. Trust me. I think something big will happen with Eichel. And I think once he gets a taste of the playoffs, watch out for Jack Eichel. I just think he's going to break out. I feel that way. I can sense that a little bit. And I don't know what the inner issues are with Eichel, but he's been getting ragged on way too much of late.
Yeah, it's state-run media, in your words, Tony. The fact that they're getting on him a little bit, that's a little interesting, so to speak. But like you said, I'm with you on Eichel. I think Eichel will be just fine when the dust settles. I'll take the other side of that line. I think a big game for March or so. He's going to rise to the occasion. And Petro's hot right now. Let's see if Petro can continue his run, and someone just put this out there. I think Tyler or someone noteworthy in the VGK circles. Petro is about to surpass his all-time season points total. And at his age, that's pretty, that's pretty noteworthy in my opinion, really fast here. So 52 points currently this season. His career high is 52 with the Blues in 1920. He put up 51 in 13-14 as well, and 11-12. And right now sitting at 52 points. So he is 1 point away from his career high total points. So something to watch out for tonight.
I might have to change the terminology a little bit. Twitter has labeled NPR, National Public Radio, as state-affiliated media. So people are just stealing my stuff, like right and left. Tomorrow's show, we will have, of course, our What the Friday. All paths, all roads lead to What the Friday. So please get on board, and we appreciate all of your comments. We'll probably, I know one of the things I'll mention is I'm sure that Bill Foley's going to get into the pickleball game if he hasn't already. Bring a franchise here.
Yeah, we're doing a remote at a pickleball game now. Is that what I just got myself into yesterday, Tony?
No, I said not a remote. Someone wants us to do a Locked On show every day about pickleball. Locked On Pickleball. So we'll get into that tomorrow a lot more. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Thanks so much for making us your first listen. You have to see this on YouTube. At least you're not swaying like myself and Cassidy. I start to sway now. I start to sway.
LOP, Locked On Pickle, LOPB. Locked On Pickleball.
Locked On Pickleball. Again, go to the YouTube channel. See my man Chris Golick there and all of his facial expressions.
I'm here.
And for Chris, I'm Tony Credasco. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take care.